Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Tips and Tricks episode. This week I'm going to focus on preparing for a tour. What is it that you need to keep in mind when getting everything together? So let's jump right on into it. So to start everything off, there are two routes you can go about booking your tour. You can either try to do it yourself by reaching out to people you know to find contacts or contacts you already have within the scene. If you do things at all, you meet people, you find people that might be able to help you out. Or the other route you can do is hire a booking agency to take over and booking those shows for you. Now, the pros of doing it yourself are you have complete control over it to a degree. You're still kind of at the whims of what's available to you, but you are the direct contact between yourself and the promoters, and you can try to do your own, bartering as to what your band guarantee is, where you play, if there's anyone you want to specifically play with you. Just working things out to maybe get things the way you want them to be for your tour to try and get the vibe you want to have. Now, a con to that is you yourself are going to be spending a lot of extra time, or someone in your band is going to be spending a lot of extra time having all these conversations, setting everything up, getting everything going, getting all the dates planned, making sure the calendar's right, doing maybe some tour routing, like talking to everyone, making sure guarantees are set. Like, you will have a lot on your plate on top of everything else we're kind of going to go over. So that's a con there. Now, if we're going to hiring a booking agency, the pros are you have someone else doing all of that legwork for you. You can point them in the right direction, maybe ask them to talk to certain individuals, and you can even provide them a list of dates you're aiming for, but now it's in their hands. Now they're doing it. Now they're doing all that legwork for you. You can focus on everything else you need to focus on as a band, and you don't need to keep worrying and following up with 5, 10 different people to get stuff going. Once you have someone like that working for you and doing that job for you, it frees up your time to focus on what I would argue are the more important things that you as a band need to be focusing on. There is a con to it though, and that is it costs money. That's really it. Aside from the fact that you yourself won't have communication with these promoters yourself, so you might not create a relationship with some of them until you get to the venue or tour dates get booked and things start going. But again, you will have to put a little bit of money into it because someone will be spending their time doing all this work for you. And a couple $100 to get a couple shows dealt with and save yourself a few precious hours usually is money well spent, as long as you trust the person and they're reputable and you know they can help you out in the best way they can. So, with all that kind of figured out, what prep do you really need to do? Well, you need to practice your set, obviously. You need to get all that kind of figured out. You need to kind of get your tour finances figured out. How much is everything going to cost? You got to figure out where you're going to stay, because again, your finances will be dictated by the food you eat, the places you stay, if you stay anywhere. Like, reach out to friends if you can. Plan accordingly to see if you can find places to crash for these shows. Budget for for food. And pack good food if you can. Get a cooler, put some ice in there, and pack some good stuff. Make some lunches, and save yourself money, and save yourself that hoard feeling we all get when we eat nothing but fast food. At first, it seems like it might not be that bad, and then you get on day 2 or day 3, and you fucking hate it. You can look into all the spare gear you might need. What are the spare drum skins, spare sticks, spare strings, maybe a spare guitar or two. If you use a tube amp, do you have spare tubes for your guitar? Do you have spare cables? Does your singer have a spare microphone? Or does he have arrangements with a house mic if there needs to be one? What is everything you need to have on a gear end that needs to be prepared? And now on the vehicle as well, make sure you have money saved up, not only for gas, not only for oil changes, making sure the vehicle's tuned up, but any other moment that could happen. What if something breaks? What if you blow a tire? Make sure you have a spare or can afford to get one done on the word. Make sure you have AMA or the equivalent to AMA for you. Here in Alberta, it's very helpful. You get free towing up to a certain extent. They will also give you some gas if you, say, run out of gas on the highway. There's a lot of perks to having AMA, and quite frankly, if you're touring without it, you're setting yourself up for a pretty hefty bill if something happens on the road. And then the last two things you need to keep in mind are your members. Do you need to have any fill-in members? Do people need to make sure they have dates booked off in advance so that everyone makes the tour? And if someone can't make the tour again, do you have someone to fill in, or do you have plans to perform the set that'll work with or without that individual just for those dates? And also prepare for maybe like your vocalist to lose his voice or get sick on the road and that you might have to play instrumentally. A lot of bands have had this happen. And if the instrumental end is prepared, you can at least probably make your set work. Some music doesn't always work without the vocals, but if you can keep it tight enough, you can still play your dates. Lastly, promotion. Make sure once you have everything lined up that you have figured out a way to promote your tour. Whether that's through videos, Instagram posts, just Spotify is a great way to let people know about it, YouTube videos, your Facebook page. Like, make sure you're just getting it out to everyone and promoting it and getting people to your show. If you've never played any of these places, you're really going to be relying on the locals there, but you can still do something to try to get people there to see you. You just got to work for it, and you have to plan accordingly and put a plan in motion. And that's the main thing. If you're going on tour for the first time, you might be hitting a few cities you've hit on one-off dates here and there. But if you're doing something larger, you're probably hitting some places you've never played before if this is your first go-round. And that means this is your chance to impress. Whether there's 5 people there or 50 people there or 100 people there, they will all be witnessing what you have to offer for the first time. So if you plan accordingly for everything you're going to do to make those shows work at their best, you practice, you figure out what your sets are going to be, you have everything figured out so that if there is a malfunction, you can take care of it like that. You might create a situation where the next time around, there will be more people there to see you, because word of mouth does spread. And if, say, a few people don't go to the show and they heard about this band that had a great time, their friends are talking about it, and then you come back next time, those friends are probably going to bring it up, and you're more than likely to see more people show up. And it will also be easier for promoters to book you if you impress them the first time around, because now they have faith that not only do you put on a good show, but you might be able to draw people in the door and make sure everyone gets paid. Because that is the worst thing about some shows sometimes, is if there's a low turnout, the promoter ends up paying out of pocket, and the bands end up still making their way out, but it's harder for those local scenes to be able to put these shows on if not enough people show up to make it happen. So even if you do have a few of these low shows, give it your all. Show those 5 people, those 10 people, 15, whatever are there, what you're about, and impress them, because that'll make things maybe a bit easier the next time around. And if you've already hit those places, wicked. This is your time to blow them away again, because they probably liked you last time, and now you can show them how much you've improved, what you've been doing since your last show there, and you can really just blow their minds. So that would be something you'd want to do every show. Kind of like the whole dress to impress thing for like work and all that, except this is you expressing your art. Make sure you can do it to its fullest, because that's where people will connect with you. So lastly, we've gone over a bunch of things for tour, and now you're on the road. Eat well, sleep, stretch, drive safe. Like, make sure that you guys are taking care of yourself while on the road. Make sure you have people set up in sleep rotation so that you can drive properly without anyone being sleep deprived. Because the last thing anyone wants to see is a band in the ditch or a band in an accident because someone was tired and at the wheel. Sometimes tour can be extremely brutal, and travel dates between areas can suck. Sometimes you're on the road for a good amount of time to try and make it to your next gig just because that's how booking worked. So make sure that you can be there, and make sure that you as a team can actively coordinate yourselves to make sure that everyone gets from show to show and is at their best, the best they can be. Again, try to eat well, try to exercise and stretch when you can when you stop places. You can just like jump anything, jumping jacks, like push-ups, run around an area if you stop at a pit stop, just like trying to get the blood flowing, try to get some energy going, because if you're sitting a bunch, you're not doing a whole lot with your muscles, and you're going to be extremely sore if the only thing you do physically well on your stint is that little bit of time you get on stage, and also the time hauling gear on and off whatever vehicle you have it on. So stretching and getting a little bit of exercise while eating well and trying to sleep well, or as well as you can, because again, it's a tour, that'll go a long way. I hope that helps. I hope anyone who's kind of planning to do stuff on the road in the future, I hope that gives you a few things to think about and helps you guys do what you need to do to have the most fun and most successful tour you can have. Remember, if it's your first time places, you might not see a lot of people there, but if you impress them, you'll see more the next time. Take care of yourself, plan accordingly for any situation, and go blow some people's minds. So with that, we'll see you guys next time. Stay tuned for the next episode. Actually, if you've noticed on a few of my covers, I've started adding this. It'd be really helpful if you guys subscribed, hit that bell notification, maybe left a like if you enjoyed this, leave a comment if you want to talk about whatever it is we talked about in this, or if you want to leave a suggestion for a future video. Just let's help get more views to this. If anyone finds this helpful, maybe we can get it out to more people that find it helpful. If you enjoy any of my content, we can maybe, I don't know, blow a video up. Who knows? I just want to make sure that everyone is getting something from these tips and tricks videos, and then the other stuff is kind of just there for fun and practice and to kind of do my own thing. So if you enjoy these videos, like, share, subscribe, comment, do all that stuff, and we'll see you guys next time.